Hey friends, it is time to talk about my next transaction that closed in December of 2018. Can you believe we are so close to the end of the year? This is crazy. We're just trucking right through my real estate career. So at this point, I have the opportunity to work with some fantastic clients, and these clients for this transaction are by far one of my faves. And that is because they became super good personal friends of mine. I watched their babies grow and then add extra babies to their family. They watched my family start. And these are the type of clients that whenever you create a friendship with them, they sit down and have like those really good one-on-one conversations. If I needed a life lesson or someone to bounce something off of, right, this is where I went. If I wanted to talk money and financial goals and sit down at a table with somebody that was, eye to eye with me and wanted to do all the same things, this is where I went. And it was so amazing to have this family to lean into and that we could be each other's support system on different sides of the table. So let's talk about this transaction. They did not have a simple, straightforward process when it came to buying a home. When we first met, we had one goal in mind, got the process started, things got a little messy, and we had to regroup. When we met originally, they wanted to build a house. We had found a lot of great properties and they were all built by the same builder. So we said, yep, we're going to go for it. So we found a lot that we liked. We talked to the builder, picked out a floor plan, and thought we had the process going. And then we waited. We waited and waited and waited. And nothing was happening. The lot wasn't getting acquired, things were not starting, the permits were not being pulled, and we were in a time crunch because baby number 2 was on the way. So we really wanted to have a house ready for them to move into before baby number 2 was born. So we had a very strict time frame. And eventually we got to the point where she told us, this is your build time. And so if it hadn't started and we couldn't add in that build time, then we needed to regroup. And that's where we got to. We finally said, all right, enough's enough. We're not getting the communication we need. Things are not going forward the way they should. So we need to regroup. So on a dime, we said, all right, what are we going to do? And they decided that they wanted to look for an existing home. So we got the searches going. And in true form, if you ever want to be busy with business or have things that need to happen, then go away on a vacation. I had plans to go away with family and I was away and they needed to see properties. So they came into town, somebody in my office to help show the properties, and we narrowed it down to 2 properties that were fantastic. We had our big bad mamma jamma that was like 4,000 square feet on the golf course. And then we had this property that was right in the heart of town. And it was about 2,600 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths. So we kept comparing the properties and going, okay, what do we want to accomplish? What do we need? Right? And a big sprawling house on a golf course seems so cool, right? But the reality is that mama and babies are in town and we need ease of access to everything. And this house in town had that. Oh, by the way, everything was on one floor. When you have littles, this can be so helpful. Going up and down the stairs with babies and clothes and toys, it's hard. I know. I do it every day. And I would love to be back to a 1-story property where everything can just be where it needs to be and keep it nice and easy. So that ended up kind of being the drawing factor. Everything was on the same floor. The layout was beautiful. Originally, the house we were going to build was going to be a single story with a bonus room, and that's exactly how this was. I had a huge bonus room over top of the garage and a bathroom up in that bonus room. So the boys could go be boys, Dad could go hang out and play video games, have his buddies over when he wanted to. Oh, by the way, Dad works crazy shifts, so sometimes he's on nights, sometimes he's on days, and to have a space that he can get away and go sleep and be away from the noise is fantastic. And so we decided to go for it. So this property was listed at $264,900. We scooped it up at $258,000 and got $2,000 towards closing costs. What a great deal. Now, we were under $100 a square foot when they purchased this property. When they sold, they did pretty well. You'll have to listen later to figure out more about that though. So When we got under contract with this property, we were able to turn and burn. And the beauty about this house is it was actually custom built for the current sellers, and they planned on living there for forever. So they put some big money into the house, and they were not going to get that back out. And that's a big pill to swallow. But on the flip side, my buyers just got the icing on the cake. They had a beautiful layout, great space, and top of the line finishes in this house. And their kitchen was, oh my goodness. Their kitchen is the inspiration for what I would like to have in the future. It was drawers beyond drawers beyond drawers. And when you start to get a lot of stuff and kids and things, you realize how nice it is to have those drawers that are easily accessible. And if you're 5'2" like me, those tall cabinets way up high just aren't doing it. So anyhow, I was so envious of the space that they had and some of the finishes in their house, and so blessed that I was able to put them in this property. And it served them well. They welcomed baby number 2. They welcomed baby number 3. And they truly took advantage of the location in town. They went to the parks with the kids. They always went out to eat to the restaurants for their special occasions and had their date night spots. They were so close to the base, so it was ease of access. Their family was in North Carolina, so they could hop on the interstate and go visit family. It was so good to see them be able to utilize this property to the fullest potential. So I want to help remind you that sometimes if things don't work out, if our plans go awry, it's for the better. There's something else waiting and the world is pulling you to it. I know it can be hard, and sometimes it's really hard to make those decisions. When do we call it? Are we saying that we're just being too impatient, that we need to hang tight a second? I am here to help you guide through all of those scenarios, right? I've been through these case by case, and I know what's a red flag and what's not, what can we work through easily, and simply put, if you're uncomfortable or not. So we need to be able to have those open and honest conversations, and we also have to be willing to be resilient. I want you to love your property when you put an offer in on it, but I don't want you to fall in love with it until you have keys in your hand. Because the reality is, situations change, goals change, timelines change. Sometimes things simply don't come together the way that we want them to. And if we can be resilient and get back up on that horse, then plan B is waiting for us. And most of the time, it's actually better. So I am here to help you every step of the way. And I want you to know that regardless of our goals, regardless of the time frame, the price point, what we need to accomplish, if there is a will, there's a way.